Look closely at the whistle. The veteran enforcers maintain an utter quiet. The United States national team has just completed its FIA World Cup qualifying run. However, the most shocking discovery from the entire international competition did not come from the participants. It came straight from the refs. Welcome back to WNBA Pro. I need you to lock the doors, turn off your notifications, and give me your entire clinical attention today, because what we are about to aggressively disclose will completely demolish the delicate, created reality of the WNBA organization. What if I told you that the international basketball governing body just unintentionally disclosed the largest, most well-coordinated corporate sabotage in the history of professional sports? What if I told you that the objective, mathematically sound officiating we just witnessed overseas demonstrates beyond a doubt that the WNBA referees have been working under a deeply corrupt, highly political mandate to artificially suppress the game's greatest defensive engine? The major sports networks, the lavishly sponsored, timid media, and the very compromised executives who currently run the WNBA front office are all scared of this topic. They badly want you to disregard the obvious double standard that was just revealed to the entire world. They want you to mindlessly follow the corporate narrative, but you are not a casual fan. You are a high-level operator, and operators understand exactly how to interpret raw, unadulterated tape. We are not dealing with a basic variance in officiating styles today. We are witnessing a live global broadcast of a corporate criminal ring coordinated by a thoroughly afraid, profoundly insecure veteran elite that is frantically clutching to the last, rapidly fading threads of its own economic relevancy. Do not be fooled by the phony, well-rehearsed public relations remarks for even a split second. Throughout Caitlin Clark's inaugural season in the WNBA, we were force-fed a profoundly poisonous, deeply insulting narrative. We were advised that she only needed to adjust to the physicality of the professional game. We were told that the horrific flagrant fouls, blindside hits, and relentless non-basketball physical attacks she faced nightly were just part of the deal. The WNBA referees swallowed their whistles. They purposefully and maliciously permitted the heritage veterans to physically intimidate, harass, and batter the billion-dollar franchise, all under the pretense of allowing them to compete. It was a well-coordinated, extensively documented campaign of physical intimidation aimed expressly to weaken her psychic will and artificially reduce her enormous market value. But then the FIA World Cup qualifications occurred.
Because the FIBA referees put them on notice. Pretty much let them be known. We ain't doing what y'all would be doing in the WNBA. So, quite frankly, the FIBA referees set the tone for how a game Caitlin Clark playing in should be rep.
I need that paradigm-shifting reality to fully permeate your cognitive processes. The FIA is currently an objective international governing organization that is absolutely immune to the toxic WNBA locker room politics and the petty, spiteful jealousies of the veteran hierarchy. The FIA referees don't care who has the longest tenure. They are unconcerned about the sensitive egos of legacy players. They are unconcerned about the unwritten, very corrupt norms of the WNBA Veteran Country Club. They are primarily concerned with implementing the objective fundamental laws of basketball. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the international hardwood, an absolutely amazing, mathematically indisputable event occurred. The physical assaults ended. The blatant non-basketball hits vanished. Why? Because the FIA referees quickly established a hostile tone. They actively penalized illicit interaction. They defended the offensive guys. They refereed the game with unwavering integrity. What was the immediate, undeniable, disastrous result of eliminating the physical sabotage? Caitlin Clark effortlessly, methodically liquidated the entire tournament. She dominated the international tournament, winning MVP honors with a terrifying high-frequency kinetic efficiency that exposed the WNBA's fraudulent officiating mandate. The FIA referees accidentally ripped the mask completely off the WNBA establishment, proving that the domestic league has been actively maliciously suppressing their own CEO. The global market just proved that when the artificial politically driven physical suppression is removed, she is the single most unguardable, highly leveraged athletic commodity on the face of the planet. But the absolute undeniable terror of the WNBA establishment does not stop with the officiating. Just as the FIA MVP news sent shockwaves through the global sports market, a tremendous, unprecedented corporate surrender occurred in New York City, with the wealthy ownership group and the players' union reaching a verbal agreement on a historic new contract. And before the ink had even dried on the term sheet, the veteran leadership dashed to the nearest microphones to utterly hijack the narrative. We certainly must discuss Breanna Stewart, because her performance on this media tour is a stunning, highly offensive demonstration of cognitive dissonance that perfectly illustrates the old guard's entitlement.
Finalized yet, so don't want to get too specific into details, but knowing that this new CBA is going to be historic. It's going to create generational success between players of all levels, and really excited.
The same players who used the WNBA referees to physically assault Caitlin Clark on the court are now standing in front of the world, and I'd like you to analyze their complete lack of fundamental business acumen in that deeply offensive statement. IT is an undeniable corporate delusion. This historic capital did not appear out of thin air. After 30 years of operating at a significant financial loss, they did not find the secret formula for generational prosperity overnight. They are deliberately and brazenly riding the coattails of the sport's most powerful kinetic and economic engine. They are demanding enormous executive bonuses without delivering a single ounce of executive output. However, the sheer audacity of their public relations spin reaches its absolute horrifying pinnacle when they seek to claim ownership of the revenue.
And really be in a space where we're in collaboration with the WNBA. You know, we are now a part of a rev share system, and we are going to see the fruits of our labor in a way that we've never done before.
Allow me to repeat that terrible, indisputable, highly weaponized statement so the millionaire network executives cowering in the back of the boardroom can hear it clearly. We are going to see the results of our labor. I ask you to take a moment to absorb the complete folly of that term, the results of their labor. For nearly 3 decades, the WNBA relied on an antiquated, heavily supported business model. For years, the legacy veterans struggled to maintain regular relevance in the cluttered American sports market while fighting for scraps of television cash, and their efforts resulted in empty venues, mathematically negligible television ratings, and a product that necessitated ongoing enormous financial bailouts from the NBA. Then, a generational abnormality arrived from Iowa. She broke college television records. She sold out every WNBA arena she entered. She radically altered item sales, business sponsorships, and global interest in the league. She single-handedly compelled the multinational television networks to cancel their old contracts and negotiate a massive multi-billion-dollar media rights deal. The entire financial boom, including the soaring salary cap and private charter planes, is openly financed by the Caitlin Clark stimulus program, and yet, Breanna Stewart and the veteran elite have the arrogance to look into a camera and say that this tremendous inflow of global cash is the result of their efforts. It is an absolute, irrefutable corporate extortion attempt based solely on fabricated, massively altered, politically motivated narratives. They are attempting to monetarily exploit the tremendous influx of capital caused solely by Caitlin Clark's gravity. And they're doing it with a straight face. But if you believed the deception couldn't go any farther, that the establishment had reached the exact limit of its corporate gaslighting, you're vastly underestimating the utter desperation of a hierarchy that knows its time is running out. Breanna Stewart had not completed. When pressed explicitly about the reason for this big, new collective bargaining deal, she made the single most ludicrous, mathematically flawed remark in the history of sports journalism.
Negotiations with the WNBA. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, what we could take from Unrivaled was just the way that players were treated and how we had a standard to make sure that everybody had access to everything that they needed to build their basketball, build their game in a way.
I want you to critically examine the mathematically impossible and completely arrogant phrasing of this exact remark. Breanna Stewart looked the global media dead in the eyes and boldly declared that the unparalleled league, her own personal off-season novelty project, was the true standard-bearer that caused the WNBA to alter its circumstances. She is trying to entirely alter the historical narrative in real time. She is adamantly claiming that a startup league, a league that completely failed in the Nielsen ratings, a league that scraped the absolute bottom of the broadcasting barrel, barely averaging 120,000 viewers on national television, is the true economic catalyst behind a multi-billion-dollar contract. Do you have the intellectual capacity to recognize the kind of apparent corporate deceit required to make such a statement? She willfully ignores the player who draws 334,000 viewers to a secondary overflow channel for a meaningless Thursday afternoon exhibition game. She is entirely ignoring the billionaire point guard who recently swept the FIA World Cup qualifications and won the International MVP award. She is actively attempting to obliterate the indisputable mathematical reality of the free market in order to artificially validate her own huge, overinflated ego and failing economic enterprise. It's a stunning exhibition of cognitive dissonance. They are frightened of revealing the truth. They are completely stunned by the reality that a 24-year-old is the only and unquestioned dictator of their entire financial ecosystem. We must immediately elevate this essential conversation to the macroeconomic level. If you're just listening to the nice, extremely sanitized sound bites of a podcast interview and praising the new CBA like a casual, uninformed fan, you're completely missing the tremendous multi-billion-dollar worldwide war that's currently being conducted vigorously behind the scenes. You have to comprehend the very awful desperation emanating from the WNBA establishment right now. The WNBA Players Union engaged in an uncompromising scorched earth battle with the billionaire ownership group over gross income distribution. The legacy veterans beat their fists on the mahogany tables, arrogantly demanding a sizable share of the overall economic pie. However, the millionaire owners understood the truth. They witnessed the FIBA officiating reveal the WNBA's fraudulent physical mandate. They witnessed Caitlin Clark totally dominate the international stage the very moment the playing field was leveled. They witnessed the totally disastrous, extremely embarrassing viewership figures for the veteran-led alternative off-season leagues. And when the billionaires understood they had complete control over the situation, they called the players' union's bluff. The union threatened a big lockout, but they had practically no autonomous market value. If they shut down the season, they would actively set fire to the only winning lottery ticket they have ever owned. The owners aggressively pushed their chips into the center of the table. The union quickly folded and secured a deal that they are now desperately attempting to claim credit for. However, the free market is not easily manipulated by fake, heavily produced press conferences, fans watching at home, or millions of highly engaged consumers who actively pay for expensive tickets, purchase merchandise, and generate the massive television ratings that fund the league. They all see exactly what's going on. They witness blatant, highly toxic physical sabotage condoned by the WNBA refs. They see the veteran leadership stubbornly striving to take credit for a financial boom that they did not cause. They witness the best playmaker of this generation constantly ostracized by an insecure, overconfident old guard. The establishment is engaging in an extremely risky and highly destructive game of corporate chicken with their own fan base, purposefully eroding the goodwill of the very demographic that pays their vast salaries. The international tournament has officially ended. The FIA referees disclosed the WNBA's unethical physical mandate to the entire world. The new collective bargaining agreement has been verbally locked in. The big expansion drafts and free agency periods are set to radically alter the whole league. The WNBA preseason is quickly approaching. And when that season officially begins in May, the training wheels and petty domestic politics will be forcefully and permanently removed. When Caitlin Clark gets onto the court in an Indiana Fever uniform, she will be fighting more than just the opposition defense. She will be facing a league establishment that was recently exposed as purposely repressing her. She will be functioning under a brand new CBA that she self-funded. And she will be given the absolute green light to utterly, aggressively, and thoroughly destroy the competition with no pity, hesitancy, or political correctness. The establishment had just spent a full year attempting to shatter her physical will. They used the referees. They twisted the narratives. And they purposely smothered her touches in order to preserve their own frail sense of relevance. However, you cannot artificially conceal a fundamental law of physics. And you cannot deny the undeniable crushing power of top generational basketball leverage. The market has already spoken. The viewers, sponsors, worldwide voting committees, and vast global syndicates have already cast their financial ballots in overwhelming numbers. They are unconcerned by the highly padded, egotistical notions of legacy veterans. The establishment had just spent a full year attempting to shatter her physical will. They used the referees. They twisted the narratives. And they purposely smothered her touches in order to preserve their own frail sense of relevance. However, you cannot artificially conceal a fundamental law of physics. And you cannot deny the undeniable crushing power of top generational basketball leverage. The market has already spoken. The viewers, sponsors, worldwide voting committees, and vast global syndicates have already cast their financial ballots in overwhelming numbers. They are unconcerned by the highly padded, egotistical notions of legacy veterans. They only care about raw, high-speed, and highly efficient kinetic output. Caitlin Clark is the only asset on the entire world board with the mathematical ability to deliver that exact product on a macroeconomic scale. Breanna Stewart's institutional gaslighting is simply the last desperate breath of an outmoded hierarchy. The veteran establishment can hold press conferences. They can gladly boast about their increased earnings, and they can proudly take credit for the big revenue pie. However, reality has already been inscribed in permanent ink on the walls. The pleasant age of the game participation trophy is dead and buried. We have officially entered the brutal, hyper-efficient era of ultimate leverage. The hostile takeover is mathematically unavoidable, and the entire elimination of the old guard is fast approaching. Welcome to the Total Meat Grinder. Thank you for visiting me on WNBA Pro, where we thoroughly explore the indisputable realities of the sports industry. We don't deal with created narratives or cowardly corporate propaganda here. We deal with the exact stark truth of the numbers. If you want the most harsh, analytical, and honest stuff on the internet, be sure you subscribe and give this video a large like. Please let me know in the comments section below, now that the FIA referees have publicly exposed the WNBA's fraudulent officiating mandate against Caitlin Clark, just how terrible will her scorched earth revenge tour be this season? I'll see you in the next breakdown. Do not blink, for the revolution is just getting started, and the weak will be completely left behind in the dust.